Okay, overall advice for job seekers, do's, don'ts?
Number one word,
Differentiation.
Number two,
Uh,
confidence.
confidence, preparation. Um, you know, if competition is fierce today, tomorrow, whatever, and your sole objective is to get the interview, you can't really wait until the interview to make your pitch. You have to make a great first impression before you ever have a chance to meet the hiring manager. Okay, it really changes everything with regard to how you need to approach the job search process. Start yesterday. Okay, put a plan together to work on the things that will help you be better prepared in terms of understanding the opportunity and packaging yourself, your brand, your stories, your inventory specifically for a particular opportunity. And if you always think differentiation, which simply means just going above and beyond what everyone else is doing, you'll be much more successful. Sorry, I had to get into that differentiation.
One more time.
Okay. Well, I believe that we've covered all of the questions in regards to, like, some of them were very similar with career transition, getting positions when you don't have experience. But if there's anything that I have not asked that you specifically wanted to ask now, I ask you to go ahead.
Yeah, back to the presentation process itself. But now, because now looking for job, you go to agents. You don't go to hiring manager.
You said you go to agents?
Yeah,
Like recruiters or.
yeah. So how, what's different? Go to the hiring manager and the recruiter. Yeah, not temp, but some of the agents, the staff agents.
The placement, full-time placement.
Yeah, I feel I have interviewed Tuesday. I don't feel I did enough to impress them. Because you have to impress them in order for them to present you to the company.
Right.
So, what's the difference? How can I do better to impress the agents?
Well, I think in that agency scenario, right, they're interested in talking to you to potentially hire you so that they can present you to another organization, right, for a particular job opening. So, you have to impress upon that person, whether it's a recruiter or whoever it is, again, why you're the best person for the job. What's the value proposition? Make the job easy for them, right, to sell you. And don't leave anything to chance. I mean, we were all involved in those kinds of situations. Do you really want the recruiter to be the one packaging you and determining whether you're the right fit and then subsequently presenting you to another company? Take the responsibility yourself. Package yourself, prepare everything that person needs to know about why you're the best person for the job. Leave nothing to chance. Very likely that person's going to go, wow, thanks.
Yeah.
You did my job for me, and I agree, and let's go.
Yes, show you care, be courteous, but communicate with them and ask questions, the right questions, so you'll know where you sit with them. They might put you off and say, yeah, you know what, I'll get back to you Friday, we're not going to hear about it. Things that you feel, oh, okay, he's not doing anything with me, or you know what I mean? But to ask all the right questions so you know where your situation is, and they'll realize you're very interested and you're not one of the 20 guys that called me just now about this job or sent their resume. Because sometimes, even though it's their job, they hate doing it. It's kind of weird, but you're courteous, respect, give them all the information, impress them with the first page of the resume is really key, especially when people go through a lot of resumes. Even if either it's HR at a corporate place or it's a recruiting firm who might be finding for a consulting job or a straight placement job. Because that's what I do. I review resumes all the time and interview people. I interview people over the phone a lot. I mean, see if you can go in and see them in person, because that's different. In my industry, that doesn't happen all the time. We do phone interviews and reference checks, but I don't meet the person in some cases sometimes because our industry moves really fast.
I'll ask you to consider this, whether it's a hiring manager or someone in more of an agency role. Put yourself in their position, in their mind. What are they struggling with? Okay, and I always ask people to think about the hiring manager. The hiring manager, we've all been in that spot. What we're thinking is, wow, I hope I can find the best person for the job as quickly as possible. Right? I got 2 jobs to do. I'm juggling all these things. I got 1,000 resumes. I wish it were easy. Right? When you know that that's what the other person is thinking, it changes how you should approach presenting your information. Make it easy for the person. Make their day a good one, because you went above and beyond what everyone else is doing to sell yourself and make yourself an appropriate candidate for the position.
I have a question. What impact do you think age is got on the hiring decision? Are they gonna read your resume just because they figure out that you in the 40s or early 50s? You've interviewed a lot of people during your career, so
I personally have never seen it as an issue. It really, and I think that's true from a general standpoint throughout industry. And people want to hire people they like. People want to hire someone that can join their company, their team, their department, whatever, and be a productive individual in that role. It has nothing to do with age. It has to do with what do you bring to the table and how you're going to be a valuable addition to that team. And when you focus on those things, age doesn't matter.
And some of the most rewarding hires I've had the opportunity to be part of are those who brought 20 or 30 years to my team, because they're bringing a wealth of experience that I can just have out on the floor that my team can access. And I believe that many people see an opportunity in leveraging some of that experience. I think actually I think it's a benefit at times to have that background, that knowledge, that experience available to people on my team.
If you feel like it might be though something that keeps you can't leave off some of those last jobs. So it looks like you have 16 years of experience versus 27. That keeps your resume shorter too, or you just summarize it at the bottom with a couple of lines or something. Because it's possible that it's out there in some areas of different industries. I'm sure it is in some ways, but it's never talked about probably. But yeah, there's ways on your resume to make sure you can avoid that. At the very beginning, don't say 30 years experience or whatever it is.
Think about this too. I mean, each one of us, none of us has the perfect resume, right? We all have issues, with our individual situations. And I say, so what? Give the hiring manager, I tell people, increase the number of variables, right? If a hiring manager is using your resume and your age to make a decision, although they really can't do that, but if they're only using 2 things to decide on whether to select you, well, give them 10 things, give them 20 things. I pepper, my book, I think there's over 40 differentiators, right, that you can implement to set yourself apart from everyone else. Increase those number of variables, and the one particular thing that you may be concerned about doesn't become an issue, because it's such a small part of what you're giving the hiring manager to consider.